What is up, Guardians? Briar Rabbit here. Welcome to Planet Destiny's review of the Song of Uryut. The Song is a new heavy machine gun that is obtained through a randomized drop after killing Crota in the Crota's End raid. Today, I'll walk you through its perks and review its effectiveness in both PvP and PvE. So let's take a look at the weapon itself. The weapon does do arc damage and has a very high fire rate. The impact rate is pretty low, as is the range and stability, and the reload speed is about middle of the road. The magazine size of 35 listed here is an error. The actual magazine size is 87. Our first tier of perks includes Smart Drift Control. This is going to give you a huge benefit to stability. Accurized Ballistics is going to give you more impact and range. And Aggressive Ballistics is going to give you more stability and impact. I tended to like the Aggressive Ballistics the most when using this weapon. Smart Drift Control gives you a huge boost to stability, but no real boost to the range, which kind of tempers the usefulness of that added stability. So I really did tend to like this Aggressive Ballistics the most. Next up, we've got Darkbreaker. Projectiles will over-penetrate through Hive Nightwall of Darkness. What this does is basically allows your bullets to penetrate a knight's shield. That shield that a knight pops up in front of them, these will shoot right through it. We've got our first upgrade damage perk, and our second round of perks here is high caliber rounds, flared magwell, and hammer forged. I tended to prefer the hammer forged to get improved range and accuracy. The flared magwell does allow you to reload this weapon faster. In that first encounter in Crota's End, that comes in handy when you've got all of those thrall charging you all the time. It's very helpful to be able to reload the weapon faster. And the high caliber rounds, I just didn't find much of a benefit. That impact increase is just too small there. So I tend to like the hammer forge the most in most situations. Next up, we've got Grenadier. Kills with this weapon reduce the cooldown of your grenade. And Hive Disruptor, increase damage to Hive Majors. So any yellow barred Hive Majors that you see, this is going to do a little bit more damage to them and really make it probably the best heavy weapon for taking out Hive Majors, but that's a pretty specific type of enemy. Okay, so how does this weapon actually perform? Due to its high fire rate and low stability, this weapon is best suited to fairly close range encounters. It really suffers when the player tries to aim in for a headshot at long range. This can be overcome by pulse firing the weapon a bit, but at range there are frankly just better choices available. This makes the weapon very situational. Against the Hive, it's a monster. The Darkbreaker perk makes Hive Knights trivially easy to dispatch, and mobs of thralls will crumble to its furious fire rate. Even ogres go down without much of a fight. Hive Wizards with solar shields will stand up a bit better to its arc damage onslaught, and I actually found it more effective to dispatch them with a solar damage secondary like a fusion rifle or sniper rifle. Against other enemy races, this weapon loses much of its effectiveness. Because its main perks are so high focused, it becomes quite an ordinary heavy machine gun against the Fallen, Vex, or Cabal. You may find the arc damage useful against fallen captains, but for the most part, I would prefer a heavy machine gun with more impact and more accuracy. The fast fire rate on the Song also creates another problem. This thing burns through ammo very quickly. Its magazine size is adequate to compensate for this, but its reserve ammo capacity is not. The Song can only hold about 2 mags of ammo in reserve, and 3 1/4 if my character is wearing armor that allows him to carry more heavy ammo. This just limits the amount of damage this weapon can deal too much when compared to slower firing weapons that do more damage and has the same ammo capacity. In PvP, the perks that make this gun work so well against the Hive don't come into play at all. What you are left with is a fairly ordinary high rate of fire, low impact heavy machine gun. That doesn't mean you can't succeed with it in the Crucible. It does mean that once again this weapon is very situational. In close quarters, you can very quickly wreck opposing Guardians. Hip firing is even effective when close combat is required. At long ranges, this weapon gets much more difficult to control, and scoring consistent headshots is nearly impossible, making that time to kill go up and up and up. For the most part, I would really recommend leaving this one in the vault, and bringing something like Against All Odds or Jolder's Hammer into the Crucible with you. The Song of Ur-Yut seems to have been built with one purpose in mind: killing Hive Knights, and for that, it is without a doubt one of the best weapons for this task. But overall, this weapon just seems to be too highly specialized for anything else. Thank you very much for watching this Planet Destiny weapon review. I'm Briar Rabbit, and I'll see you next time.